This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by trainer Ben Davison here in Saudi Arabia. Ben, not your first experience here in Saudi. Is this one feeling different with the extra heat?
Oh, it's warm, that's for sure. It's definitely hot. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for the lads up on the stage with all the bright lights. God.
I actually missed it, but did Moses have to go off because he had a nosebleed or something?
Yeah, he had a nosebleed, so yeah, but he's okay.
Glad to hear it. I was going to start off with that. The link-up, Moses Itauma for many is the next generation of heavyweight stars. A lot of people feel a world champion in waiting. Where did the link-up come from?
I think he had made a commitment to making a change in his team, and he went and tried out a few coaches, and we was one of the teams that he wanted to come and try. And I think once he come, he didn't look back.
He's made no secret of his desire. He wants to try and beat Mike Tyson's record. Doing that is another thing in itself. But do you see from your time together, from where he's taken on, what you've been trying to coach him, that future star?
Oh yes, like that's not the part that's up for debate. I think what's up for debate is all the things that you see with these talented lads: staying motivated, staying in love with the sport, remaining coachable, and so far we've been very impressed in those areas. You know, very coachable, very passionate about the sport of boxing, which sometimes he plays down, but he is, and that excites us as coaches. And in terms of talent, it's very rare to come across a heavyweight that's talent and skill level matches that of the lower weight classes. But that's what we've got with Moses. So yeah, we are extremely excited.
Away from his passion, his desire, his hunger to reach the top, when it comes to his boxing attributes and his skill set, what one thing has stood out that maybe you wasn't anticipating when he first came to the gym?
I wasn't sure he'd be as coachable as he is, which is a massive skill set. Even Michael Jordan, considered one of the most talented individuals in sports in history, his famous quote of saying that my biggest skill was that I was coachable. So that is a huge skill to have on top of the talent. So and he punches harder than I anticipated.
Have you found it difficult trying to find the right opponents for this fight? Because again, that's been a big talking point.
No, this opponent had already been made before the link-up happened. So yeah.
What are you hoping to see them first fight together? What are you hoping he's able to show?
I just want to see him go in there and practice. Do you know what it is? Everybody says, I say this all the time, prospects, but when they're blowing people away, you always have that thing of an experience of doing the rounds. So I would like to see some rounds. Not to say we're going to make him any more passive or anything like that for that to happen. If the opponent is not of the level and he gets taken out in a round, then so be it. However, if the opponent is durable enough for him to get some rounds and gain that experience, I'd see that as a massive positive in the development of Moses Itauma, and that's what this period of his career is all about, the development, for him to have all the experience and all the skills he needs for once he does, no doubt, get to the top.
I think most people would agree that on paper you probably have the best heavyweight stable in the country. Obviously AJ, two-time world champion, Fabio Wardley, British champion, Moses Itauma regarded as the next world champion. What's it like having three fighters at three different stages but all chasing something?
Yeah, I'd probably say in the world, being honest, but it's fantastic, you know, and I like to try and create a team environment. Moses will ask AJ questions, and AJ's more than happy to share that experience, and you know, they hit off, they have a joke and a laugh about the similar music taste that they've got. So that's really positive, and that's the type of vibe I like to try and create in the gym, so I'm really happy with that.
Just away from them guys, Lee Wood, what's the latest?
Just had a conversation with there. Look, Lee wants, and I'm sure Josh Warrington wants, to make that fight. It's just about when that fight can happen. Lee picked up a bit of a niggle, just being 100% honest, might not want me to say that, but Lee's picked up a little bit of a niggle, and that's been holding things up. Once that is recovered, but we're still currently trying to finalise a deal. But like I say, I'm confident that's the fight that Josh wants, that's the fight that Lee wants, and I'm sure we'll get some news on that very soon.
Fabio Wardley, again, the rematch, or?
Oh, that's the fight that I would like to see. I think that's the fight that boxing would like to see. I think it's a massive fight for those two guys. And I can't see him being anything but another barnstormer like it was last time.
A lot of people said that they loved obviously to see that fight. It was an unbelievable fight, but I imagine you as a coach, you don't want to see somebody that you train go through too many of those fights. Is that something which you thought about?
100%, but I think you have to strike while the iron's hot for both of them. And that is the fight that everybody wants to see, probably, and I think it's a pay-per-view worthy fight. I think already being called fight of the year. So, yeah, I think the best move for both guys is to strike while the iron's hot.
Obviously, I can't leave the heavyweight division without talking about that main event on Saturday night. Tyson Fury, somebody you've previously worked with, versus Alexander Usyk. People changing their opinions all the time with this fight, Ben. Just your thoughts on it as we draw ever closer to Saturday.
I just think we've got two elite guys and it's a massive fight, and that's exactly why we're all here. I think that there's going to be ebbs and flows. I think that there's going to be adjustments from both fighters, and I think both fighters are good enough to make those adjustments. That's the intriguing thing. So I think it boils down to who's better prepared, who is able to implement their strategy, their tactics, who's able to come through the adversity that the other fighter opposes to them. And yeah, I think that, you know, for me to sit here and give you an answer, I don't know, that's the answer, and that's why we're all here, because none of us really truly know.
What for you, Ben, for both men, would be the key kind of factor they have to take into consideration for Saturday night, for them to have their hand raised?
Yeah, I can't really, the problem is, I think as Anthony Joshua's coach, it's one of the things we would like to do, I would like to do, you know, is help AJ put the Usyk fight right. So for me to talk about his strengths and weaknesses and what Tyson can do to exploit them would not be ideal. And I think on a personal level and a professional level, for me to talk about Tyson's strengths and weaknesses would be unfair as well. So I probably can't answer that question based on...
I understand you're a little conflicted there. With the theme of Anthony Joshua, one thing a lot of people have obviously given you a lot of praise for, kind of, I don't want to say involvement, but this new form of confidence we've seemed to have seen in AJ from Motavolin, Francis Ngannou. Again, what's been the most impressive thing since your link up with AJ?
Just his professionalism. Yeah, that, you know, I've said that from day one. He's an absolute pleasure to coach. Absolute pleasure. Really enjoyable. Very coachable. Again, for us as coaches, he's passionate about the sport of boxing. He absolutely loves it. He loves it. He's in the gym an hour before, getting ready for his session. When he leaves, he's non-stop thinking about his session. He comes in the next day and what you've worked on the day before has improved from the end of that session the day before. That's exciting for us. That motivates us. So that's the number one thing for me.
The Alexander Usyk fight, if ever we was to see that trilogy, from your time together with AJ, from knowledge you'll have on Alexander Usyk, how confident are you that you would be able to help him deliver a different result to the first two outcomes?
Yeah, we're really confident. I think that obviously once we knew that the Anthony Joshua link-up was becoming a serious thing, obviously we'd already looked at, but we clipped some things from the Usyk fight. We've shown him them, and I think what's important is that he's able to see them things, see those areas, see those scenarios, and you know, I believe that he's confident in being able to be victorious if they was to fight again, and we certainly are.
I don't want to put you on the spot, Ben. I don't expect no breakdown or anything, but there's been a lot of talk down the line, AJ Fury. Has it crossed your mind at all that you may well be there for AJ to go against your former man at some point in the near future? Has that been something you've thought about?
Of course, but look, Tyson's a sensible man. He understands the situation that we're in. and it is what it is. This sort of thing happens all the time in football, where managers go to different clubs or players go to different clubs and go against their former team. I know it's slightly different with boxing, but you know, as I had loyalty to Tyson, I now have loyalty to Anthony Joshua as well, who's put a lot of responsibility in our hands as coaches, and we have to deliver.
Final one on all things Fury AJ. What fight do you think he would prefer? Because he's always come across as a winner, and I'm sure he'd love to right those wrongs of a Usyk fight, but then also the Fury fight, the biggest fight in British boxing that's out there.
I think if I asked him that question, I think the answer, I can't tell you what he prefers, because I think he would say, I don't give a fuck. I'm a fighter and I don't give a fuck. Let's fight.
It's a very good answer to give, Ben. Just moving away from your gym, just a couple of fights on the horizon, get your thoughts on. Former fighter of yours again, Josh Taylor, next week, Taylor-Catterall, your thoughts on that rematch?
Yeah, good fight. You know, I remember Josh from day one. This is God's honest truth. Talking about struggling to have the motivation for that fight, which was always a concern. I think both guys will be more than motivated. I think both guys will make adjustments from the first fight. And yeah, it's a huge, huge showdown.
Wilder Zhang next on June the 1st as well.
Intriguing matchup. Intriguing. I'm not sure, being honest. I can see a couple of different scenarios.
Could I get you to pull those splinters out?
I probably slightly. I think if Wilder goes about it the way that I think he's going to go about it, I'd probably slightly favour Zhang.
I'm going to bring one more thing which just cropped up into my head. Taylor-Catterall Shaker said the plan is for AJ to face the winner of Dubois Hrgovic. So what's your thoughts on Dubois Hrgovic?
I haven't really looked at it, being honest. You know, in an ideal world, he'd get the winner of this next. Whether that's possible, we'll see.
Ben, appreciate your time. Thank you.
No problem.